the top. Yeah, it's very confusing.
40 miles off the North Carolina coast, Mike and Jimmy are searching for Ingomar, a sailing yacht. She disappeared in 1931 following a mysterious light in a notorious stretch of water called the Graveyard of the Atlantic. They found a wreck shaped like Ingomar, but it has a propeller, out of place for a sailboat of this era.
Very, very odd.
As Barnett investigates the prop, Jimmy begins to take photos. Thousands of photos from every angle. The plan is to stitch these all together using an imaging technique known as photogrammetry.
We have this model here that we can now spin around.
Wow, let's see this.
We could zoom in and get a full detailed picture of the wreck.
This is incredible. I mean, this must be a game changer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is such a useful tool because now you're seeing the wreck in its totality, and you can actually pull measurements.
What's the size?
It's hard to get the exact dimensions because the bow kind of peters down because it is heavily buried, but it's about just over 110 feet or so in length.
The dimensions match Ingomar's. The team needs to prove whether this wreck really is Ingomar and dig into how she sank.
Primary goal is to get back on the wreck, and we need to move some of this sand. We might be able to uncover something that is the smoking gun on this wreck.
I think also if you can hit the archives and try to find maybe some blueprints or some other historical documentation on this vessel that we can compare to the model to see if this is the Ingomar.
Okay, boys, we got our work cut out for us. If this is the Ingomar, this could be huge.
As Mike and Jimmy prepare for their second dive, team member Wayne Abbott is investigating Ingomar's construction history.
The divers have found a wreck the size of the Ingomar, but what are some of the distinct features that they should be looking for?
Well, we have a couple anchors sitting right there that probably still exist. These things are steel and strong and heavy. Herreshoff had his own unique design. They built everything in that shop. There was no going down to Walmart and, hey, let's go get 3 of those things. They made these things from scratch. There's all kinds of little deck fittings and winches and things. So there's a lot of little clues that if you found some of those elements, it's probably the Ingomar.
But what about the propeller?
Didn't originally have an engine. The boat in the 20s fell into disrepair. It was at anchor for a while. And then a new owner came along and they spent a year fixing it up.
Registration documents reveal that as part of that 1928 retrofit, an engine and single propeller were added to Ingomar.
We've already done our preliminary dive, and on this dive we want to see what we can reveal under the sand, find what other evidence we can to help identify this wreck positively.
It's a tough battle. But Mike and Jimmy refuse to give up.
This one.
Finally, after a long fight, artifacts.
It's done. Yeah, I can see that one here.
The team finds a large silver bowl, shards of china, and cutlery. Also, extensive piping and bathroom fixtures.
So it's a clearer drink.
We may have struck gold. Blueprints of Ingomar.
This is great. This is basically the skeleton of the ship right here. You can see the galley area, which is important because we saw a lot of cookware and stuff in the general location.
It's a promising start, but there's a problem.
There's a lot of stuff here, but we've got nothing specifically that says Ingomar at this moment.
Right.
I mean, other ships would have had the same thing, so let's keep looking.
Dave meets up with team member Wayne Abbott to chase down the biggest mystery of Inglemar's disappearance. The graveyard of the Atlantic is guarded by a series of lighthouses and floating beacons. Caught in a storm at night, the crew see a light which they think is the lightship. But in fact, they never saw the lightship. The light was actually the lighthouse on Cape Fear. Instead of guiding them away from the killer shoals, it draws Inglemar directly into them.
They had outdated charts and didn't realize that the lightship had been moved.
Back down on the ocean floor, Mike and Jimmy are searching for the custom-built fittings they saw in the schematics for Inglemar. Key clues that could positively identify the wreck. Between other divers stripping the wreck and the sands devouring it, time may have run out. But the graveyard has finally given Mike and Jimmy a rare break.
We have a little bit of a current, so that should help to blow some of the sediment out so we can see what we've done and what we've revealed.
As they return to the bow of the wreck, they may have their breakthrough. It's a windlass, which raised and lowered the anchors. They also find a deck step, which held a mast in place. And a capstan, which was turned to hoist the sail. Do they match the custom-built, one-of-a-kind equipment installed on Inglemar? The team heads back to shore to analyze the new footage.
Grab a seat.
Yeah, really excited about this.
Yeah.
We were able to document each section of the wreck that we had talked about last time.
The shipwreck site. It's a fascinating story.
What did you guys find?
The builder's plans show the deck step. This is the frame for the mast as it came through the upper deck. We're seeing that right here. So
You can see the circle.
Yeah, I can see it right there, yeah.
The frame for the mast matches Inglemar's plans exactly.
So that's locked up. Here at the bow, right here on the tip of the ship,
Okay.
we've got this windlass.
And so does the machinery for the anchors.
It's a match. Also, the starboard anchor, exact same position.
This piece of metal is one of the anchors. It's another match.
The design is consistent.
Distances, everything's laying out.
That's the key.
The way this looks on the plans is like what we see on the wreck itself.
Perfect.
It's like frozen in history. We have just an abundance of evidence. The dimensions matched. The bathtubs are in the right area. The china matches the galley. It's period correct. Everything's lined up.
Is this the Inglemar?
I'm feeling highly confident that there's no doubt this is Inglemar.
This is just fantastic. Great job, boys.
Despite all of the challenges thrown at them by the graveyard of the Atlantic, the team has beaten the odds for a huge win and a remarkable find.
Many ships have met their fate in the graveyard of the Atlantic, and we've only just scratched the surface with this one. There's
no kidding.
so much history here and so many stories to be told. I mean, we could be diving this for decades.